Factory. Will here with another episode for you guys. Today we're going to be talking about protein. Everybody's got to have it. And the biggest questions you run into from a health perspective and from a fitness perspective is how much? How much should I be eating? How much can my body absorb at one time? You hear this all the time. Well, stay tuned because you're about to find out. But before we get into that, I'm getting ready to train myself, do a little bit of arms today, and I'm sipping on my Kiwi Strawberry Vintage Blast. Let me just tell you, delicious flavor, guys. Old School Labs. This is vintage build. This is unflavored. I mix it in there with it. All your branched chain amino acids, all from vegan sources, from plant-based sources. So staying true to the dairy situation, staying true to the vegan situation. Old School Labs is the way to go. The flavors are phenomenal. I get lots of comments on the Vintage Blast, especially the Kiwi Strawberry. It's in stock right now. Go to oldschoollabs.com, pick yourself up some. Don't forget to use code WILLBF on the way out. And thanks again to Old School Labs for sponsoring these videos for us. So, I'm going to need some energy for this one. A little bit of caffeine in here to get me going. But let's talk about protein, guys. Okay. So first, how much do I need? Well, anytime that you're getting into your fitness lifestyle, food should be one of the first things you think about. Everybody wants to go to the gym, and I'll be honest with you guys. When I'm working out consistently all the time, I had a lull there in my mid-30s where I didn't train a whole heck of a lot. My diet suffered. So being consistent in the gym has definitely helped me personally stay on task with my diet. Okay? So that's just me, though. It doesn't necessarily work for everybody. Most people feel like, that I talk to and that I train, if diet's on, they feel more obligated or feel more motivated to go to the gym because they know they're putting the right fuel in their body, and rightfully so. Mine's just a little bit different than that. But let's talk about protein, because nutrition should be something that you're looking at right out the gate when you're looking at establishing goals for yourself, right? When you're trying to determine what's right for me, what am I trying to accomplish? Nutrition, number one. The macronutrient protein. A lot of mysteries out there around this. A lot of information flying around the gym, a lot of bro science related to it. So let's just take the target audience here, which is physique athletes or physique guys and girls that are looking to push their physique to another level. And when we talk about that, we're talking about adding muscle tissue to the body, okay? And what that requires is essential amino acids. You gotta have amino acids in order to do that. Amino acids come from protein sources in your diet, okay? Most commonly, meat sources, right? Everybody's familiar with chicken, beef, eggs, fish, protein powder, whey powder, things like that. On the vegan side, you're looking at beans and rice combination, tofu, pea sources, pumpkin seed sources, a lot of nuts, a lot of protein, or a lot of nuts, a lot of seeds. That's where you're going to get your protein from as vegan. Okay. Now that we've established that as a baseline, got to have that to grow tissue. How much is enough? Should I be eating 150 grams in one meal? Well, let's start here. So let's start with how much protein do I need in a day? So we're going to talk straight maintenance. So we're talking maintenance or not changing much according to the National Library of Medicine, okay? We got to take your pounds, that is common in the United States for measuring body weight, and we got to turn it into kilograms. So if I weigh 220 pounds, divide that by 2.2 pounds per kilogram, and that number is 110. So technically that's 110 kilos that we're going to start with. All right. So at 110 now, what's my maintenance level? Well, again, according to the National Library of Medicine, we're looking at about 0.5 to 0.7, 0.8 grams of protein per kilogram per day. So if we use 0.5 for easy math, it's about 55 grams of protein that I would have to consume on a daily basis to maintain the musculature on my body. Okay, now, amino acids are used to build all kinds of tissue in the body, so it's not just muscle mass. You're talking about bone density and some of those other things as well, connective tissue. That's all amino acids are going to help build those tissues. Okay, so you know that 55 grams goes to work across all measures. Okay, so if we divide that by 6 meals a day, if I'm eating regularly, I need about 10. We'll just say 10 grams of protein per meal. Now, if I'm pushing the envelope, if I'm wanting to gain muscle tissue, So for those of us that may use some PEDs, or we're pushing our hormones to another level with some natural products, maximizing our testosterone output in our body, and we're going to try to gain as much tissue as possible, overeating is important, right? We got to put in more fuel to let our body know, hey, I'm giving you enough, go ahead and start changing the way I'd like you to, and then we provide the stimulus for change, which is the resistance training. Okay, so overeating, overconsumption, provide the stimulus, body adapts accordingly. Now, if that stimulus is sedentariness, if that's a word, anyway, if you're just sitting on your butt doing nothing, then your body's going to change accordingly, which means store all that extra energy, okay? Energy being food that we're ingesting. Now, if we're providing the stimulus and we're overeating, we should get the result we're looking for. But how much is too much when it comes to protein? So again, using the National Library of Medicine as a benchmark, what they're recommending is about 1.2 grams per kilogram to push that envelope. So that takes my number from 55 grams, doubles it plus some. Okay, so now we're looking at about 135 grams a meal, or for the day, of protein that I need to ingest to push that envelope. Now, if we divide that by 6, you're looking at about, 26 grams of protein per meal. All right, I had 55 grams for the whole day in maintenance. Now I'm looking at 26 grams per meal. Okay, so that's quite a bit different when we talk about how much I need to ingest to make sure I'm getting enough to push to my goals, which in this case is adding tissue, muscle tissue to the body, okay? So overeating and then providing the right stimulus for that change. That's what we need to be looking at when we're talking about adding muscle tissue. Now, from a protein perspective, all right, how much is too much? Can you do 35 grams in a sitting? Well, there's some big time trainers out there that really push hard on their guys, and it works, especially if you're using anabolic substances, okay guys? It's just the reality, hormones going nuts, you're adding more hormone to your body can do more with it. We call it protein assimilation or protein synthesis. So I put in more food, more protein fuel for building tissue, and because my hormone levels are so high, my body's ability to synthesize or use or assimilate that protein, assimilation means turn it into what I need it to be, okay, in this case muscle tissue, is much higher. The capacity is higher, okay, you can do more, and this is why you have guys that look bigger when they're using PEDs, okay, so there's no mystery there. Now some push to 2 grams per pound of body weight. Now that's scary if I think about that, because I weigh 220 pounds, and if I have 2 grams per, that's 440 grams of protein. Divide that by 6, I don't know, the math is about 72 grams per meal. That's a lot of protein. Now we're talking about 3 times, right about 3 times the amount that I believe I need per meal in order to get me moving forward. Okay, now that's exhausting all effort, meaning I'm going to give my body every opportunity. I'm going to leave it not up to chance at all for muscle tissue growth. Okay, that's an extreme number. And you got to be using the right things to help assimilate all that. Now, here's the drawback, guys. Well, side note before we get there. All right, quick side note. That side note is how much is too much in one meal. Okay, I just talked about 25, 26 for me, 72 for Samson Dowda, or even more than that. That would be me on a few other big time trainers programs, okay? All right. So in reality, all of the studies that are out there tell you that the body can assimilate every single gram of protein that you put in, no matter how much you put in at one time. Now think about that. So if I have 135 grams a day that I need to push my number, my weight, my tissue, and so on, I can eat it all in one meal. My body's going to use it all. Now here's the kicker. My body uses it all over time. So it recognizes that protein / amino acids are in the stomach and the lower upper intestine, and it actually will slow digestion down on those particular macros in order to make sure it can use it later. Now use it later is different than use it the right way. And I say that because if your body is starving for carbohydrates, it's going to change those protein chains into the carbohydrate chains to make sure your muscles have enough fuel for exercise. Your heart has enough fuel for contraction. Okay? So if you overeat proteins and you're not eating enough carbs, your body's just going to turn those into carbohydrates. So in a sense, you might as well just eat the carbohydrate, okay? When you're depleted and you're only eating proteins. Now, if you have the right amount of carb load, your body will digest that and process that quickly, and it'll slow down digestion for the proteins. That's why you end up feeling heavy and full when you have high protein meals. Okay, now that's the other problem, is when we're jamming down a lot of that stuff, you can get acid reflux because you're actually not getting rid of that stuff in an efficient manner. You get distension, you get bloating, etc. So you got to really watch how much at once in order to keep a trim waistline and feel good inside. And the other thing you run a risk with when you have high protein diets, not all at once. So in a crux, guys, you can eat all of your protein at one time. Your body's going to use it the way it needs to. Okay, it's not going to go to waste. It's going to get used. Will it get used to push tissue or make tissue? I don't know. Depends on your depletion levels on carbohydrates, fats, etc. Okay, but it will get used. It doesn't go to waste. Now, when we talk about which proteins to put in, the risks that you run by using animal proteins versus vegan options, okay? This is a little plug, this is a little commercial on veganism. Lots of studies on red meat tell you that if you're pushing that much, putting that much red meat / animal protein in your body, you have a super higher risk for renal stones or kidney stones. In fact, it becomes a problem at a certain point. Now, just like smoking when you're 18, right? You turn 18, you go in and buy a pack of cigarettes, you smoke the whole thing, and you're fired up because you can finally buy a pack of cigarettes, and you never do it again. Probably not going to have any issues with your lungs, right? Same thing here. If you're pushing that protein, that animal protein hardcore for a year, you'll probably destroy some things inside your body, including plaque buildup. Your valve, you might have some valve problems, you might have a stone, but your body will, if you stop eating that way, your body will correct a lot of those things and get healthy, okay? That's just how it works. Your body wants to be in a state of homeostasis, and when you stop doing those detrimental things, it will repair itself to a degree, mostly, okay? So I'm not saying it's bad for a short stint, for a period of time, but what I am saying is the accumulative method, or the accumulative nature of this sport, if you will, or this lifestyle can really cause some problems for people, especially those who might be sensitive to heart disease. So heart disease and kidney stones, very, very prevalent, plus the acid reflux and high volume protein diet, especially animal based. Now, you say, well, okay, well, what about your tofu that you eat all the time? Good question. So the tofu does do the same thing as the animal proteins, okay? So it takes forever to digest. In fact, tofu is one of the slower ones. It's 3.5 grams per hour that your body can actually use and assimilate, okay? 3.5 grams per hour. Okay, so where does the rest of it go? Well, it digests slowly, and over time, you end up using it. Now, the difference between the health benefits between the tofu and the animal products is this. All of the negative side effects from the animal-based or from the plant-based proteins are from the pesticides that are used when growing it. So obviously organic is best when you're eating that way. So there's actually no definitive measures of negativity related to the protein source coming from plant-based sources. Food for thought, guys, okay? Food for thought. So let's wrap this thing up. Number one, protein. Gotta have it to grow muscle tissue. Have to. Provide the stimulus with the exercise, and then eat enough protein to make sure your body has what it needs to grow. Number two, how much is too much? Well, your body will use it all. We already discussed that, but more than likely 1.2 grams of protein per kilogram of body weight is about the right ballpark for making sure digestion's clean in between meals and you have enough protein to grow that tissue. Number three, and to me most important, where are you getting your protein? Where is it coming from? Because animal sources have proven to cause some problems long term, especially if you're making this a lifestyle, right? And again, this is not the flash in the pan diet. We're going to do it for 6 months and then stop. This is supposed to create a lifestyle. So limiting the amount of animal proteins, adding more plant-based sources seems to be the best combination for most folks, and you get the results that you're looking for. So I hope you guys learned something today. If you did, smash that subscribe button below. definitely appreciate the support. And remember, man, go visit Old School Labs. They're a huge sponsor of ours. OldSchoolLabs.com. Use code WillBF on your way out. Drop a comment if you're looking for any kind of help with coaching, posing, general nutrition. Also, Instagram at body_factory_inc. Drop us a DM there. We can help out any way we can. All right, that's it for now, guys. Be safe. Keep training hard. Keep crushing. We'll see you again.